All right. Good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation to be here today and talk a little bit about how we are rethinking the way we engage with industry, disruptors, and breakthrough technologies here in New York City. So yeah, I'm Jeremy Goldberg, Deputy CTO for NYCx. A little over a year ago, I was feeling a little bit too comfortable. And whenever that happens, it's time to get a little uncomfortable. It's time for a little disruption. And I was invited to join the mayor's office of the CTO here in New York City. And so I moved my wife and my 5-year-old from San Francisco to New York to tackle what I believe to be the boldest and biggest municipal program in the United States, focused on how we engage with and interact with the technology disruptors, entrepreneurs, and doers that are here in our city and from around the world. So imagine, if you will, for a moment, if government would take a page from industry and be a bit like the Boring Company or Googlex and pursue opportunities that will fundamentally change the way that we interact with our city streets, the way that we interact with each other, and the way that we think about the future of our city. What would partnerships with AI companies, AR companies, 3D and modular housing companies look like? So in October of last year, we announced NYCx to do just that, to open up urban spaces in New York City as a test bed for R&D, for collaboration, for technology insights, new business models, and programs in a way that will change the way that not only we interact and engage with technology, but to make technology work for people, for all New Yorkers, and to advance New York City's vision to be the fairest big city in the world. So how did we do this? After we announced this initiative, we created 3 areas. One focused on moonshots, a second focused on collabs, and a third, our Tech Leadership Council. Our moonshots are our broad strategy around the issues that really matter in terms of climate and resiliency, affordability, mobility. Collabs are those challenges that are surfaced from community priorities in our neighborhoods, from the residents of New York City. Those are identified from the people. And our Tech Leadership Council, which some of the companies that are represented here today actually participate in this program with us. These are 22 executives from industry, from business, universities, and nonprofits who help to inform the strategy of this program. The next thing we did was we established partnerships with agencies across the city. The New York City Economic Development Corporation, the Trust for Governor's Island, the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and our partners at the neighborhood level in Brownsville, Brooklyn. And while as you look at this slide and you see this is meant to be reviewed and looked at as a bit of a continuum of testing locations and zones to be able to explore these technologies, we understand that industry labs are important. But what happens when we take the technology and the experience and the experiment outside of the lab or outside of a desert in Phoenix, Arizona, and we bring it to the neighborhood level? Each of these different research and testing zones offers a unique and dynamic experience to learn from the technology and what its capabilities are in real time. We then issued 4 challenges. Our Governor's Island Connectivity Challenge focused on bringing broadband and or 5G technology to the island. Our Climate Action Challenge, which we partner with the City of Paris on to explore emerging and breakthrough technologies focused on EVs, to advance the mayor's vision for bringing 50 fast charging stations to New York City by 2020. And on our collab challenges, our Zero Waste and Shared Space Challenge and our Safe and Thriving Nighttimes Challenge, which again were collabs, so they were surfaced from community. We opened this program in September, as I mentioned. We received almost 200 applications in total for these 4 challenges over the period of from September until today. To get a little more granular in terms of like the contours of how this actually works, as much as this is about the technology and the business models, this is a way of rethinking contracting and procurement and accelerating the way that we actually procure technology and actually learn what's possible. So in round one of a challenge, let's take this moonshot example at Governor's Island, we post this challenge to the world. We have awards affiliated with it, so $25,000 offered for the winners. We get the initial set of questions, we follow up, we have an interview process. We then invite those that have been selected, we've narrowed it down to 3 to 5 of them at a time. They're invited to come and test their technology, in the case of Governor's Island, on the island. A winner is selected with the potential for negotiating terms of a contract with Governor's Island. So this is a try before you buy type of approach to this work, but in real conditions and circumstances. What does this really look like? Well, if you take a look at this picture, this was taken in March. This is one of the teams that went out to Governor's Island. And our team was discussing, this is right after the second nor'easter storm that came through New York. Team was discussing, should we actually push out the timeline for the R&D period for this work? We're curious to see what people can do, but will people actually be able to get to Governor's Island that day to do the testing? So, we didn't think too hard on it. The obvious answer is yes. Let's test it out. We invited the 3 teams to come to Governor's Island. 2 of them were able to succeed, and actually, as the stress testing took place, they were able to set things up in a way that worked. The 3rd team was not able to fulfill the requirements and what was needed. So it was clear at that point in time that Governor's Island was thrilled that they were the first to take the risk. They went with the top 2 candidates as those that they would discuss the contract with. And so next week we'll be announcing the winner of that program. And so this is a little bit of what we're aspiring to. Every industry, your industries are pursuing moonshots. We're trying our best to also do the same. We know that this is what we're striving to do by accomplishing tackling these really big challenges. We're hoping that as we go forward with each of the new challenges that we issue, that we need partners like yourselves to join us, to respond as both advisors, as people that can help us think through the strategic approach to this work, but also help us rethink the way that government actually engages with industry, a relationship that's less reactive and more proactive about the way that we change our shared future. So thank you very much for the opportunity. I've managed my minutes well. I am 30 seconds back to the team, so thank you.